Hello guys, in this video you're going to see how I interview 3 founders that attended the Tech Makers event. Tech Makers is a community of more than 7,000 builders, founders and investors that are focused on the tech scene in Amsterdam. It enables people to come together, network and growth. They have startup pitches, hackathons, conferences and also deep dives, really technical. And this 10th of June, they will be doing the Startup World Cup 2026, Benelux Regionals. It's a pitch competition where the winner can compete for a 1 million investment prize in San Francisco against other startups. So the winner of Benelux to San Francisco. So I think I will also be recording that. Enjoy the video.
Hello, Julio. What's your name? What
Cheers.
do you do?
I'm Nico, co-founder of Profectus, and we're developing a no-code drag-and-drop builder, so people can create their trading strategies visually and reliably. It's like WordPress, but not for websites, but to create your trading strategies.
Okay. Why did you start this company?
I started this around 10 years ago, when I was trading with real money. Got beat hard by the market after a week of trading, chasing losses, revenge trading, losing money. And then when I realized that, this was like the marking point for me, my obsession with like stripping away the noise in trading, because there's a lot of distraction and I got distracted a lot, particularly when I was like 19 and lost a lot of money first week of trading.
And well, I'm an ex-econometrician, so I was wondering, are you also going to implement the statistical models or risk assessment models in your platform, or is mostly done for building strategies? How does your platform help to assess risk?
We do this to an extent because it's very important. We will probably not do it as fancy as in your studies, but we try to follow best practices, because in the end, you are wearing different kind of hats. You're wearing the hat of a trader, of an analyst, and of a market observer. So the bit of like trading is taken care by Profectus because you can create your algorithmic trading system. And now you need to know, is it good or not? And there comes the analysis into place, what you can also do in Profectus. So you create a strategy and then you can run it in platform with our in-house backtesting engine. And you get a backtest report and then also your statistical metrics. Like, is it profitable? How profitable is it? How big is the drawdown? Is the strategy good enough for certain prop firms? So you get quite a good feeling already, and we simply follow best practices. So we don't go as deep as like a quantitative report, but good enough for amateur and newbie traders, which are our focus groups, to get a feel, is it worthwhile now to forward test on demo money? And then let's say after 3 or 6 weeks, now you get a feeling, cool, it's still profitable on this live account, but demo money, no, it's worthwhile to actually try it on real money.
Okay. What's the vision for Profectus?
Becoming a piece of infrastructure. This is the goal. Being a piece of ethical infrastructure in trading, because there are many players with kind of like mismatching incentives, such as brokers that A and B book, which is not per se bad, but it's definitely a conflict of interest. The same with prop firms. As soon as you are profitable as a trader, there's a tendency that they terminate the accounts of those traders. So being a player, a stakeholder in this environment with like a strong purpose of really adding value for traders. This is our purpose, our vision.
And what's the current progress so far? Do you have users? Have you tested how your platform helps them regarding other alternatives?
So we launched last year, pretty much exactly 1 year ago, 2025 in June. We have developed the core product, the drag and drop builder, for 18 months. Because in our industry there is no wiggle room for any mistakes, which actually proved us right, because we had early traction with a B2B player, a Dutch investment fund, using our software up to today. And this is pretty much where we are at. We will launch very soon our backtesting engine next week actually. We will add also a speech-to-bot feature very soon, so making it even catering better to newbies and amateur traders, so they don't need to care too much for the details in the beginning and just get started as well.
Which is one of the challenges you are currently having?
Since we are hyper niche, not only that we're in the trading industry, but also algorithmic trading. So in a room you might find one person who's an algorithmic trader, if even. Finding those people is quite a challenge. So this is also what we would get the capital for to find those people, increase our reach, getting the market share in our niche, to be the player for algorithmic trading.
So one ask will be to find capital, an investor. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
And any lesson from your entrepreneurship that you would like to share with other fellow entrepreneurs?
If you can start with a co-founder, it's much easier than you alone. I wouldn't be here without my two other co-founders, Jos and Max. They have completely different angles, and it's a much richer discussion. And as an entrepreneur, I think it's very often of like what you don't do and what you do. So this really helps. Find a co-founder, I think, is a very good first start.
Perfect. It was nice to meet you. Thank
Cheers.
you for the interview.
Likewise.
That's it.
Alrighty.
Hello.
Hello.
Julio, what's your
Nice
name
to
and what
meet
do
you.
you do?
I am Carla and I'm the founder of Kindlee. We are the only dual platform for AI fairness, compliance, and revenue recovery through no PII and no integration.
How does that work?
That's a great question. Think about us as first sitting on top of the tech stack. We are an independent evaluator. We essentially white hat customer service interactions to see how customer service systems in the financial sector behave towards vulnerable populations. So based on the anomalies or based on the friction points, we extrapolate that information and create, a cost profile in order to provide a financial incentive for companies to improve their models. And we also improve the data directly.
So you disentangle discrimination from these statistical models that at the end create some discrimination in these financial models when assessing loans for immigrants or disabled, right?
That's what we're aiming to do, but we're not quite there yet because we're not yet working with credit decisioning, but that's a very good point. I do love the disentangling point. I would say that we identify friction points. I wouldn't say discrimination itself, because a lot of the gaps that we notice are more a sin of underrepresentation than a sin of purposeful discrimination, right? A lot of the anomalies that we identify are actually accessibility related, and there is unfortunately a wide unpreparedness or lack of preparedness towards things like visual accessibility, for example. And there's also a lot of looping or refusals or simply lack of context that results in things like hallucinations, or again, like the promise of escalation to someone that is able to respond to an accessibility query, but then it doesn't. So all of those are friction points. And simply, the majority of the times is a memory retrieval issue. Basically, the RAG is undertrained, right? The knowledge base is lacking this context, and that's why we are now, basically our slogan is context is everything.
Okay, when did you start this company?
Kindlee started as an idea in early 2024. And it started here in the Netherlands. We did our first pitch at Holland FinTech, which is where I met Fabienne and the guys from Tech Makers. We, again, just as an idea, we won that first pitch. And a couple of months later, we were also pitching for Tech Makers. That same fall, we got selected for Techstars Miami. And we went through the program. We graduated in December, and since then we have actually both proven the thesis, which is essentially that by identifying biases, we were able to also quantify operational friction and operational costs as an incentive, right, for organizations to become fairer. And we created the methodology and the first study like last summer. We deployed it we launched it in November. That was the first publication that we had actually quantifying and having empirical evidence of unfairness in platforms. And this February, we just launched the first version of our platform. So it's been a year and a half or almost 2 years of development.
This is the how and the why. Why are you doing this? Why are you building this company?
I think, this sounds really emotional, but I think in many ways, this is what I'm meant to do. But personally, I have a disability, as you've seen. I'm a woman, I'm an immigrant, and I've been in the room when we make decisions around, who do we flag in credit or fraud decisioning. I'm in one of the decision makers to develop financial products, and I can tell you that we make the wrong assumptions about people. We unfortunately inject so many biases unknowingly so, and we have such complex tech stacks that in an era where there's an 80% AI adoption by financial institutions, I can see the danger, right? Like I can see the danger of not quantifying this, the danger of not tracking not only how it affects people, but how these models are actually drifting and kind of, reinforcing these biases more and more, throughout the years. So I just think it's something that needs to exist. And their legislation is also helping me out with that, or helping us out with that, right? It's quite literally kind of gearing more towards the methodology that we're using. But yeah, a myriad of experiences that I've had have told me that we have an opportunity right now with the adoption of AI to change things. And I've found a way to both incentivize financially and create full visibility into doing exactly that, right? Like to be able to do well and do good, financially speaking, and make fairness profitable for people, quite literally, or for corporations.
Okay. Do you think the financial sector is adopting AI at the same rate or speed than other sectors?
Quite frankly, I haven't done a comparison. I know the financial sector has, it's adopting it at an 80% rate, depending on the use cases. So some internally, some customer facing. 2/3 of financial institutions already have implemented AI for customer-facing interactions, and it's only going to expand, right? Like we're seeing agentic AI, and that's going to, slowly creep into a lot of the experiences. We know that KYC is partly fueled already with AI. Biometric authentication is partly fueled with AI nowadays. So in 3 years' time, a lot of these things are going to be the norm. And so, I think that obviously access to financial services is a human right. Everybody needs to participate in the economy, right? And if this is affecting such a broad segment of the population, or many segments of the population, which in aggregate are, you saw the presentation, over 60% of current and future customers, then who are we building, what are these models how are these models going to affect the financial access for everyone in 2-3 years' time?
AI is not explanatory.
Pardon?
AI is not self-explanatory, right? It's like a black box.
Exactly. And
we need systems.
Yeah, it's a black box, and it's a black box that already carries its own biases, its own data weights, but it's complex because of the tech stacks of the companies deploying it, right? Because we're not talking about just analyzing, ChatGPT or analyzing Gemini. Every single one of those corporations, or the major corporations out there, have a very complex tech stack, and a lot of them even have AI governance platforms already embedded, but they can only control what they see and what they have, right? It's virtually impossible for them to truly be able to see how their models are performing towards these specific groups in production, and so that's why we're coming. In fact, they have zero visibility right now.
Which is one of the challenges, the most important challenge that you are facing right now with your company?
That's a tricky question. So, let me think about this one. I think a couple of years ago, people kind of ran away from the concept of biases. They either swore that there were no biases, and their model didn't carry any bias, or they said they would do eventually something. And I think the biggest challenge that we had recently was around regulation. Like there was a lot of things up in the air in regards to the AI Act and in regards to enforceability, and also the complexity around regulation in the US. But we found a way to operationalize ISO 24027, which essentially gives us not only the highest standard, but by virtue of something that, I don't know if you're familiar with the Brussels effect, but by virtue of the Brussels effect is essentially European influencing policy elsewhere, because Europeans are much faster, and thorough at establishing regulatory benchmarks and frameworks. I'm sorry, and so that gets adopted elsewhere, and so. For us, the clarity that just happened around the AI Act, the fact that they expanded some of the responsibilities around bias analysis and transparency, they also validated that the use of synthetic data was preferable, and in some cases there's exceptions. So it actually gives us a lot of validation in terms of our methodology. But I think the biggest challenge that a company like Kindlee has is perception, right? Like people, and it's changing a lot, but people running away from the conversation around biases, and now they really, now they're embracing it. So it's turning the wave.
Perfect.
It's a hard question.
I know.
Qué tramposo.
And what else? One lesson that you would like to give to other entrepreneurs or founders that are listening to this?
Ooh, so many. I'm a solo founder for a reason. It's really hard to have a company, and it's really hard to have a company in something like this where you're trying to both make an impact and have a full-fledged scale up. I would say one of the toughest pieces of advice I was given was it's going to be much harder than you think, and it's going to take way longer than you think. And that was true. But the other most valuable piece of advice that I was given was you only fail if you quit. And sometimes some people should quit. But if you're good at product, if you're a good technologist, if you're a good entrepreneur, you receive feedback, you update your vision, your product, your tech, your business model, whatever it is, you adjust, you test, and you keep on going. So the only way that you fail is if you quit.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, that is what's pushed me forward for years on this.
Perfect. And one last thing, this should have been the last question, my bad. But this is the last question.
Yes.
Any ask that you have for the community, my network and tech makers?
Yeah.
Or the viewers that are going to see this? Any ask?
Well,
what are you
we're always looking for pilots to validate the efficacy of our remediation models or remediation data. That is, so we've already proven our methodology, right? Like we've already created the platform itself, and now what we need to demonstrate or quantify is how effective and what is the delta between, say, one type of institution and another. So those are the pilots that we're seeking to do. Financial institutions overall. So insurances. So the test set that we launched with was with insurance companies, with fintechs, and with banks. So yeah. And we are opening our next tranche next week, actually right around Money 2020. So we are looking for investors that have a specific thesis around responsible AI or AI infrastructure. We consider ourselves an AI infrastructure company, not an AI governance company, and we need people, or we need investors that can essentially open the path for us to become the global standard in AI fairness. That's what we're aiming for.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you
for
so
your time.
much. I
Nice
super
to meet
appreciate you. Thank you.
That's it?
Okay, I don't know.
Hello, I'm Julio. What's your name? What do you do?
Hi, my name is Nitin,
Nitin.
and I work as a data analytics engineer in Ministry of Defense. I work for Dutch Navy at the moment,
Okay.
so I give my services to the Dutch Navy.
Are you entrepreneur as well? Or?
Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a partner, and we have also a service model in India to do a support model. So that's what we do at the moment. So my clients are were actually Heineken, BAM, and Grand Vision. So now also I work for a semiconductor company in Munich, Infineon, and now we are quite occupied with Ministry of Defense because they want to cope up with all these years which they have neglected on investments on data tech. So we are helping them to get their governance model of the data and putting solutions for them.
Which kind of solutions does your company offer? Only data science software?
We have like solutions like artificial intelligence, data science, data engineering, data governance, master data, and also developers who are developing pipelines from finance, from supply chain to make a central data warehouse where the data is managed and stored in a nice way. It's very challenging because the defense is such a complex organization and everything has a procedure. So it's not easy. So it's my first time working with a defense company like Dutch defense, and it's very challenging, to be honest. It's not as fast as like a private company, but it's a very good experience on how to do stakeholder management.
You mentioned you have outsourced labor in India.
Yeah.
Which are the benefits of outsourcing in India compared to doing it?
So basically, for Dutch defense, it's not possible because you need a lot of clearances and rules and regulations, and you need Dutch-speaking people. So that's why most of the support is in Netherlands. But for other clients, we have a framework where we support clients who need 24/7 services on a support model to support an application. And we are like cheap, for example. We are cheap because in India we have cheap labor, good intelligent guys. Sometimes they need some guidance, but technically they are very sound. And we have already the solutions built up. And it helps clients to not go from the scratch, and rather than just use those solutions or use the framework. For example, if a company has a lot of backend systems and they have already implemented it and they need support to just maintain it, So then we have people who can do it on a very cheap models.
When did you start it, or did you join this company? How did it start?
Yeah, actually 8 years ago. So actually I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Only thing was when I moved to Netherlands, I started working with Accenture. So, and you're always not sure if you want to live in this country, and you need to learn Dutch, and are you capable enough to deliver to the clients, because you need to set up some standards. And then suddenly an offer came, which I thought would be very nice to just leave and as far as I say, when you're young, I'm not young, but I say to young people, when they're young, they should make mistakes. They should lose also, because then you know the difficult times and you can grow up. But if you're late, you get used to the security and comfortable life, having a job, the salary is coming in, you stop taking risk in life. So taking risk is very important. Even you don't have to, you have security, but you also know how to lose a little bit and take some risk. So that's my a tip to the young people.
Amazing. So you started with a co-founder in this company?
Yeah, I'm the co-founder,
Yeah.
because basically most of my experience was earlier in media, and then I switched to SAP. With SAP solutions, with SAP I worked on implementations with Shell, for example. And with Shell I learned a lot on how to deal with ERP data, how to make a business warehouse, how to store the data, how to make it secure, and how to make the statistics working for the company, not only for the history, but also for the forecasting, like predictive analysis and predictive forecasting and budgeting, for example.
What do you think about the AI wave and the SAP, ERP, CRM that these big companies that we're accustomed to? What is AI going to affect to these big companies?
Yeah.
Are new players going to enter, or anybody is going to have a personalized approach to their CRMs or ERPs?
Yeah, the AI will be, of course, it's not going anywhere, and the companies like ERP systems will be, using more AI layer, for example, to get some information. For example, if you're using ERP system, there are specific reports which you can, get out, like how much sales you have done in a month and what are the profits, for example. And then maybe the AI layer will help, for example, to get some out-of-the-box questions, like what was the customer segment or other stuff.
Do you
more
think
quickly.
from a business standpoint, new players are going to appear against
yes.
SAP, classic SAP or something?
I think SAP is a very big company, and they are also trying to change it more on cloud solution. and I think that basically there will be players coming in and out, but this has always been like industry is never for like one person, like one company stays for like 1,000 years.
Okay.
They keep on coming and changing, but SAP and like Microsoft, they are big companies, and they are like doing all the revolutions in the technology field. But I think the most important thing is to how to keep the data for a long time, like data governance. When you have data for 20 years, it needs storage, for example, and the data has to be good. And AI will only work if the data is correct, because many companies don't know how to keep the data, first of all, safe, and then second thing is correct, because a lot of misinformation like on the data is happening in big companies.
Okay. Which is one of the challenges, or the most important challenge your company faces right now?
I think it's not about technology, because now their life has changed. You know, like 10 years ago, for one solution, I have to look on like their groups and like I say like this is my problem, what should I do? For example, in technical way, like if I have to make like some code, you know, what is the code for this like complicated stuff? So I have to take help from the forums, you know, like I have to go online and check with some people. Technically now things are very easier, but the processes are very complex. Like if you go to like big companies, they have bureaucracy, you know, like especially in government, you see like from one department to another department, the communication is not so easy, and to get approvals even more difficult. So I think in current scenario, I would say like this, to just get like fast, you know, approvals and coordination is difficult, especially in big companies, government companies. For small scale companies, startups is more easier, because you know you sit in one room with everybody and everything is so easy. But like big organizations like government, defense, space, the data is also, you know, you need to keep it secure, so it's not easy to use open source, for example. You need to use only like in-house stuff. So yeah, these are very complicated, which only delays stuff. But hopefully now their focus is more on you know, on self dependency. For example,
Using open source models instead for APIs, right?
Like NATO, for example, is now working with America. But if America is not there, then we need to have our own capabilities. So building our own capabilities is very important, which the government has started to focus on right now, and they are giving more budgets to spend on IT, for example, because previously IT was not a big deal, and you know, making own capabilities was not much a problem. But now, because the defense is now very sensitive, you know, topic, it's very important to have your own integrity and own stuff in your hands. So Europe is now working on it. So I think that's like how it's going to work in future.
How do you see the industry, your industry, the IT industry, in the next 10 to 20 years with these AI advancements?
See, the AI advance will make people more smarter, because in the phone right now, like if I compare 20 years ago, as a small child, you don't know, you have to ask your parents, your teacher about something, you know, and now like the generation is so smart. Like if you have something in your mind, you can check with the AI and you can do something by yourself, because there are so many things online. And I think in coming time, people will become more smarter. But the only thing is like where there is no requirement of human interface, that will be eradicated. And the same tasks which are performed every day doesn't need humans anymore. So on that, if you are productive, for example, as a human, even you are a plumber or you are, you know, you can do something with hands, you are a farmer, that I will say like will be more productive. But if you are sitting in an office and you think like you are a consultant and you get like paid in like checks, I think those jobs will be gone, because repetitive tasks and tasks which doesn't need human interference will go. But other stuff like industry as a whole, like IT industry is one thing where all the money flows in, but maybe the money flows from IT industry to other like agriculture, space, other stuff, like, you know, where you really need humans, you know.
Yeah, okay. What's one ask that you would like to have for the viewers, the community, and the network? Something that, a contact, some funding, anything?
I would just say like, I can just say on a human perspective that technology will come and go, but your vision, your ethics, your energy should stay the same. when you see something, you should be interested in it, you should be curious about it, and you should be able to approach people, because many people do not approach people.
Would you like to look for a contact in the network? Like, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Like, which kind of contact would you like?
I would like to know, like, if somebody's interested to have offshore support model in Asia and cheaper model, we can provide like talent from developers to project managers.
Any specific company size that you're looking for, or company sector?
We have like companies from like 10 million to 100 million. And we can also organize more bigger support models, because we started this like few years ago, and we have a lot of a library for good talent. So if
especially big enterprises.
Yes, like we have good AI developers, ERP developers, those kind of human talent we have a lot, and we have a setup where we can provide good expertise in a cheaper version.
Perfect.
And good.
Perfect. One lesson that you would like to give to the entrepreneurs or founders watching this interview? One lesson from your entrepreneurship or advice?
One lesson I would say, like, of course, just I think when you wake up, you should be energetic. It's not only about your work, but also other things in life. When I wake up, I also look at in my garden. I look at the leaves and plants, so it also gives me, like, a good energy. So I think not only work, but also other aspects of life are very important. Okay. That's what I do. I don't know if it works for other people, but yeah, that's
a rich life. Perfect, amazing. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
That's it.